In the immortal words of Bing Crosby, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And guess what that means? It means two of Average Joe's favorite things, booze and Christmas cookies. And you know what? You can pair those things. So today we're going to walk through about a half dozen different cookies and a few different spirits, and we're going to tell you which ones go best together. And guess what? Stick around to the end. We're going to look at fruitcake, everybody's favorite. So come along. Let's have some fun. So these are the cookies we're going to work with today. We got sugar cookies. We got the Spritz cookies. We got shortbread cookies. We got the Linzer cookies. We got your classic gingerbread. And we got some peppermint cookies. So we're going to pair those cookies with these fine spirits and see which ones match up the best. So as we go through these cookies, we're going to try to match them up. So we're going to do the classic Fireball cinnamon whiskey. We're going to do traditional bourbon. We've got a Prosecco. We've got our peanut butter whiskey. Got your normal Glenlivet Scotch. We got our Chambord going here, and your Appleton Estates rum and vodka. And we'll work through these and find out which cookies and which liquors pair up the best. Okay, the first one we're gonna do is the classic sugar cookie with some icing on top. And we're gonna try that with the Fireball, cinnamon whiskey, and a classic bourbon and see which one pairs better. The rest of them, we're probably gonna do just one liquor and a cookie, but I think we wanted to try these because the standard cookie doesn't have a ton of flavor on its own. So we're hoping one of these will offset that a little bit, and we'll go from there. Say anything. Not much. Okay, sugar cookie, I'm gonna start with the cinnamon whiskey. Classic, sweet, the frosting and the sprinkles, buttery note, pretty tasty. Cinnamon whiskey. Ooh, yeah. That might be, we might be onto something here. That's really good. The cinnamon adds a whole nother flavor to this cookie. It makes it a cinnamon cookie, basically. So super strong flavor, buttery. Those two go great together. Let's check out this bourbon. All right, moving along. I'm gonna take another bite of the cookie, but this time we're gonna wash it down with the bourbon. I went with a straight up Ben Holiday, just a mid-shelf bourbon that I found at the local liquor store. Here we go. Sugar cookie. That's not bad, actually. The bourbon's tasty. It's a little bit, it's very different than the cinnamon. The cinnamon is like it was made to go together. These things, they work, but it's a little bit sharper note on the bourbon. Good bourbon, good cookies. I think they pair well. All right, next we're gonna try the old Spritz cookie, which is, you know, buttery like a shortbread, but it's a little bit more tender. It doesn't have that snap because they don't roll it, I guess, the same way. It's processed or made a little bit differently. So we're gonna try that with a Prosecco and your classic screwball peanut butter whiskey. So we're gonna taste both of these with the cookies, see how it goes. Some Prosecco. And a little bit of the old peanut butter whiskey. Give it a shot. I'm gonna get a bite of one of these Spritz cookies. Overall, it's not a bad cookie. It doesn't have a ton of flavor. It's less buttery than the sugar cookie for some reason. Prosecco. I don't think those two work very well together, actually, because I don't think that this actually brings out much. This doesn't have a lot of flavor. This doesn't have a lot of flavor. So the two together. Next up, we're gonna try one of these Spritz cookies with the peanut butter whiskey. It's better. If I had to choose one, I'd choose the peanut butter whiskey. The peanut butter is strong in that in the screwball. It comes through sweet, strong, peanut buttery, and it gives this cookie more flavor, which I kind of like. It almost becomes a peanut butter cookie in the same way that the sugar cookie became a cinnamon cookie. So Same thing, strong liqueur, weak cookie, overall good flavor. All right, so moving along to the shortbread cookie. It's the classic buttery, you know, it's got a good texture, it's a good flavor, not overpowering, with a more earthy Glenlivet Scotch. So we're gonna do a Scotch and a shortbread. Let's see how it goes. All right, here we go with the Scotch. Mm-hmm. Okay, I dig that. I dig that a lot because I like the flavor of the Scotch. The shortbread doesn't bring a ton of flavor. Buttery, not very sweet. Scotch, it has actually a little bit of sweetness that pairs really well together. So this is a hit. I like this one. All right, next we got the Linzer, which is a sandwiches-like cookie. It's got some raspberry filling with a couple of shortbreadish cookies, keeping it all together. And we're gonna pair that with a Chambord, which is a French black raspberry liqueur. Should be good, should be sweet. Let's give it a shot. All right, here we go, first bite. So we're stepping up in flavor. So this is a cookie that brings in a flavor outside of like a butter or a sugar or a nothing. This one's got a little bit of raspberry in the middle, which really picks it up. I feel this is gonna be a good one. Oh yeah, yep. Those two things are made to go together, I think. It's raspberry on raspberry. You can't go wrong with that. It's delicious. Okay, here's the trick we found out. This is too sweet on its own. It should be mixed with something. I think that's the intent. So we got a little bit, and we found out that if we added some of this Prosecco from the earlier pairing with this, kind of cut it, it works even better. So it cuts that sweetness. You get the sweetness of the cookie, which is already really sweet, with the Prosecco raspberry mix is definitely, it's better than just the two together straight up. Number 5, here we go, gingerbread cookies. So we're trying to step it up in flavor. We went with the raspberry cookie last. We're going gingerbread cookie right now. And we're gonna mix that with a good old Jamaican rum man. This one right here, straight from Jamaica. It's the one you're most familiar with. It's available everywhere. Good rum. We'll check on these gingerbread cookies. We'll see how the two go together. Gingerbread cookie, a little bit of icing on there. The rum itself, straight, is kind of harsh. It's got a little bite to it, but when paired with the cookie, it works really well together because the sweetness and the sugar cut some of that sharp heat from the rum. So I think that's a winner, actually. All right, last but not least, for the cookie segment, remember we got the bonus fruitcake coming up, but for the cookie segment, we're gonna go with a peppermint cookie and a vodka to see if that peppermint gives a little bit of that flavor to the vodka. I love this vodka. I mean, there's a lot of vodkas out there. Everybody's got a favorite. This one is mine. It brings no off flavors, no sharp notes. It's really just a really good straight up vodka. So let's give it a shot. Okay, here we go. Peppermint cookie. Really tasty. Well, so I mean, no, I don't think the vodka's helping this cookie at all. The cookie's good on its own. The vodka's good on its own. The two together, I don't think it's a match made in heaven. I don't think you need to necessarily go out of your way to put these things together. But again, cookie's good. Maybe a little bit of that aftertaste with the chocolate and the vodka's okay, but initially it's just, I don't think you need to do that. All right, guys, here comes the bonus round. We're gonna go in with fruitcake. And this is gonna be amazing because, you know, fruitcake's like a running joke, but it's really pretty tasty. And also, if you can tell, it's got a really clean label. You know, there's not a lot of additives and preservatives. It's pretty good for you. It's got a lot of flavor. But you'll also notice that around me, there's no liqueurs or liquors. We're gonna try to figure out what's gonna go best with this. So I'm gonna cut it up in some slices. I got a couple ideas. Let's try them out. Guys, the smell is amazing. You just pick up that, it's almost like, it's almost like opening a package of jelly beans at Easter. It's really got a nice fruity smell. It's got a very aromatic smell. Again, we're gonna figure out what pairs best with this fruitcake. I think we'll start with maybe a bourbon. So, initially, the flavor I thought was like, again, I think I was getting the aroma and the flavor mixed up. I thought it was off-putting. It's not bad. The fruity notes aren't like super sweet or overpowering. It's pretty subtle. So I don't think it's bad. It actually tastes like a bread full of raisins. So tasty. I think when I think of raisins and bread, I think of rum. So let's try this with a bourbon and let's try this with a rum and see how it goes. Ooh. All right, so what we're gonna do, game time decision, we're actually gonna drizzle a little bit of the liquor onto the cake itself and taste it that way instead of trying to mish it all together. It's gonna give it a little bit of splash. Let that soak up, and then we're gonna give it a taste, see what we think. All right, here we go. This piece in our Jamaican Appleton Estates rum. Let's see how it tastes. It's not bad. I would say the rum, I'm not saying the fruitcake was bad, but I'm saying the rum's gonna make that fruitcake a little bit better if you drizzle it on there a little bit. All right, next up, we're gonna try the fruitcake with a drizzle of bourbon on top. We're gonna try a different bourbon. This is a local one from here in Utah, from Sugar House. We're gonna give it a shot. Let that soak up and we'll give it a shot. All right, so here we go. This is the bourbon soaked fruitcake. Let's give it a shot. Oh, it's, I'm gonna say what's happening here with the bourbon. Bourbon's delicious, aged in smoked oak barrels, right, or oak barrels. I think the fruitcake brought the oakiness out. And I would say that's probably not a great thing with a fruitcake. Oak and fruit didn't go together as well as the rum did. So I'd stick with the rum so far. We got one more we're gonna try. All right, here we go. One last slice with a surprise contender. We haven't seen tequila show up yet. Tequila is showing up. Does tequila pair with Christmas cookies? I don't know. Does it pair with a fruitcake? Maybe. Let's give it a shot. We're gonna drizzle and eat. Drizzle. Okay, here it is, drizzled in the delicious tequila. Everybody loves tequila, but does everybody love tequila with a fruitcake? We're about to find out. Let's give it a shot. Yes. That's all right. That's good. So we did rum, we did bourbon, we did tequila. This is the one. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Maybe this is a good tequila. We all know it's a good tequila. It was a good bourbon and it was a good rum, but this works with fruitcake. It doesn't make any sense to me either, but that's happening, and I'm gonna have another bite because it's good. Here it is, guys. Top 3 contenders. We got 2 we knew were gonna be in the race. We got a surprise that just popped in. Last minute, here it is. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna start with the one I like the least of the 3, but still liked. So it's gonna be the Scotch and the shortbread. It works, I like it. It's not my favorite. And then it comes down to these 2. So again, the pairing of the cinnamon whiskey and the sugar cookie, it's like they're made to go together. It takes this cookie into a cinnamon cookie. It's a good mix. I like it. So I'm gonna go number 2 with this one. The surprise winner, guys, tequila and fruitcake. Like I couldn't have guessed this in a million years because there are 2 things you think of. You're like, I'm not gonna eat fruitcake and I'm not gonna drink tequila tonight. But when you put these things together, it really works. So I would recommend going out there, getting yourself a good tequila and whatever fruitcake you can. Doesn't have to be great. Make it at home. I bet it's even better. But try this out. I think you'll enjoy it. So remember, sometimes average is good enough.